As promised, we have the insanity that continued for probably the better part of 4 years plus that plagues the beautiful place that 99.9% of Americans call home. I think that we quickly forgot in this short period of a couple of months what we came from. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you the insanity that we have progressed from in such a short period of time.
This all gonna be taken away because of him.
I'm so pissed off.
Wake up!
I'm feral.
I mean, this is completely unhinged. Completely unhinged. And remember, this was only a couple of months ago, tops.
Today.
I'm fucking angry! I'm mad! I'm upset! I'm angry as fuck, bro!
White people do not go.
Look at that face. Look at that. That's just pure loathe. That is hatred at the highest echelons. That is like, just look at those eyes. She would steal your wallet and then unequivocally help you look for it. Just look.
Go to your black, your indigenous, your immigrant, your queer, your trans. Do not go to that person in your life that you feel is a little bit more oppressed than you are, because obviously you're feeling oppressed, and ask for help with it.
Men.
Why not? You can come to me. We can hang out, get weird. I mean, whatever. I don't know what her issue is, or its issue, or I don't even know what they're calling themselves these days.
All of you. And you ugly dumb bitches who voted for him too. You guys are a piece of shit. You guys have internalized misogyny and you're dumb. You're stupid.
I'm gonna go ahead and say.
Do you think, and a serious question, do you think that she can spell that? Do you think that she has the ability to spell the word misogyny? Just a question. I don't really know. I mean, they're calling conservatives dumb. I mean,
Too.
legit.
You guys are a piece of shit. You guys have internalized misogyny and you're dumb. You're stupid.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that I think if you voted for Donald Trump, you're ugly. I think you're all freaking ugly, and I think you're dumb as bricks.
I
It's
am.
one of the worst times of my life. It's when my life fell apart.
Knowing that
Hold on. Hold on.
Times of my life. It's when my life fell apart.
knowing
At what point in your life do you assess a situation that you personally, alone, isolated, had no control over, and it led you to cut your hair off? It's not like that to me. That did, and I could be wrong. That didn't look like just one of those videos that people, oh, look at me, I'm doing the dishes while I'm talking to you. It kind of looked like she did that.
I think you're all freaking ugly, and I think you're dumb as bricks.
It's one of the worst times of my life. It's when my life fell apart.
knowing
She's not
that
using
what we're about to go through,
her hair, and I'm not a.
The only silver lining is it's actually gonna suck for all you Trump voters way more than it's gonna suck for us blue voters, because we actually have educations and good jobs. Y'all are broke as fuck, so it's really gonna suck for you.
means the possibility of me losing.
Conservatives, you heard it first. You are broke as fuck. She said it. She did. She said it. I heard it. I heard it. You're broke as period. End of sentence. She did not leave any room for debate. She did not leave any room for question. She just flat out said, conservatives, you're ugly and you're broke as f-. So just, you didn't hear it from me. She said it, not me.
More of my rights, and that being a real threat.
What rights? What rights? What rights? Your rights are being taken. What rights are being taken? I don't think not allowing grown men with a little tykes, my first vagina kit, to enter into women's bathrooms where there are vulnerable young children, girls there. I don't think that by coming to your senses and saying, hey, I really don't think that Jim, who is now Jane, is allowed to stand up and pee next to your daughter. I don't I don't see it. I don't think that's right. That's being taken away. I mean, I could be wrong, but I personally don't want some 6'34" dude standing up peeing next to my daughter. I think it's weird. I think it's foul. I think it's disgusting. And quite frankly, I think that should be unlawful. But no rights are being taken away from you. You're still going out there and performing the stupidity that you do on a daily basis, and nobody's stopping you. So I don't necessarily think that that statement is 100% accurate. But if I'm wrong, just tell me, please. Please tell me.
Is insane.
Stop dating men. Stop having sex with men. Stop talking to men. Divorce your husbands. Leave your f***ing boyfriends. Leave them.
If he voted for that man, you need to leave him. You need to leave him. I'm sorry.
I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you. I might wake up a motherfucking slave.
Newsflash, slavery never really was abolished. I think that slavery has just been expanded to include everyone. And again, just the thought.
I'm done with you and your mother and your sister. I'm just done with all of this.
Now that the orange turd has won, we should now rename America Hell, because it is going to be hell on earth once they strip everyone's rights away that is no straight white cis man.
All I'm saying right now is that someone in the White House would better take their shot right now. And better not miss.
You deserve to die by my hands. More specifically, by the rake that's in my hand that I'm using as a bludgeon on your skull.
So buckle up. Hope you freaking Republicans are happy.
This is fucking America, and this is sad.
What the fuck? Why? 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 Do you really hate me that bad?
Forgive me for being a little emotional here.
It's kind of fun.
So,
I can't believe Trump's actually going to win this fucking thing.
So I kind of don't even know what to say, because that's reality. That was, and quite frankly, it still is. I just think that the reason why you don't see it every day and it's not in your face as prevalent as it was months ago is because A, we're all tired of it. The majority is tired of it. B, they realize it didn't really work out clearly to their advantage. And the politicians that fed that disgusting nonsense, if they're not currently under some form of indictment or investigation, they are on their P's and Q's. Except there is an exception, which we're about to take a look at. These individuals clearly did not get the memo.
be silent. We will not back down in our pursuit of racial justice. The antidote to anti-blackness is to be pro-black, and we will do it unapologetically. The United States government owes us a debt, and we need reparations.
Owes you a debt for what exactly? For what? For slaves that may or may not have been somewhere in your family tree? Your great grandmother who you don't even know what may have been a slave, may have sung a Negro spiritual somewhere 3 foot in a ditch with a black and tan coonhound chasing behind. Maybe. I'm not buying it. For many reasons, I'm not buying it. For starters, I don't necessarily believe anybody who is in an official capacity with fake eyelashes, 3.65 feet extending from her face, for starters. But I'll give you a shot and I'll listen.
I want to apologize that I didn't more formally introduce Rep. Presley like we did Rep. Bush. Remedying that now, I would like.
That's the only thing you want to apologize for? I can see like 900 things that you probably should be apologizing for, I guess, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Video is at least 30 minutes long or something. I'll hear you out.
To introduce Rep. Rashida Tlaib. What? Yes, your turn. Yeah, but I had to bring it out anyways because our folks are coming up next. with that, Rep. Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah. Oh my God. If you don't know who this Talib is, you just watch.
It's fine. Thank you all so much. I love being in this room because it's like being at home. It really is.
Pandering. That is pandering at its highest form. Being here in this room is like being at home. So you mean being surrounded by a sea of black people looking for a handout is like being at home? I don't think so. I think that you have a big, beautiful home as far away from the ghetto as possible. And you probably have what you call hot sauce in your kitchen cabinet with Heinz 57 on the front of it. But again, I'll listen.
I'm so grateful to my sister, Cori Bush, for introducing Reparations Now resolution. And again, people nodded their heads or like shrugging and everything. She didn't care. She kept moving. And I'm so inspired by the fact that Congresswoman Summer Lee is taking on the torch and carrying this very important legislation. Thank you both for your.
I know some people that carried torches a long time ago. And they're no longer doing it.
Incredible leadership on this. Of course, I stand here before you as a congresswoman for the most beautiful, blackest city in the country, the city of Detroit.
Detroit is not a beautiful city. There's nothing beautiful about Detroit unless your favorite color is red. Nothing beautiful is coming from Detroit, from the left side, that is, unless you like your car's broken into and your innocent family member slaughtered at the hands of some black kid who wants the Apple Watch you're wearing. But again, I'll listen.
to say that reparations is not a radical idea. We've been talking about it forever. We've been singing it from the rooftops, talking to urban farmers, to everyone.
We've been singing it. Yeah. She's trying to like commingle singing Negro spirit. I feel like that's what she's trying to connect those dots, but I'm not buying it yet.
From saying, if you're not going to do, we're going to find ways and pathways to try to again heal.
Look at that lady in the back. You see the lady standing to our right, her left, over her shoulder, that elderly woman with the magic school bus glasses on. This lady looks like she was threatened by her social security check to be there. Like, listen here, Betty, we're having this event tomorrow. And if you don't show up, the Werther's original that you like to buy every single month, yeah, you're not going to be able to afford it. So if I were you, I would go ahead and roll up those pantyhose, get your behind in your 1999 Mercury, and get on down here and support us. Otherwise, you're going to see what it's like to live with a sweet tooth for 3 weeks. I mean, she looks like she's thinking right now, like, this is just like, I don't even, this, gosh, she smells like bacon grease.
The harm and the hurt of many of my family members and my community, and you Detroiters know that it is a debt that our nation owes, and a true acknowledgement of the pain and the trauma and harm inflicted on generations of many of our Black neighbors. Reparations.
Many of our Black neighbors. Once again, you don't live anywhere within walking distance, bicycle riding distance, or public transit distance from a Black neighborhood. And neither does Betty, to the left of you, live within reach. And probably the white dude that Black lady holding the sign is married to doesn't live within those 3 avenues of a Black neighborhood or urban living, as we call it. But I'll listen.
Are a necessary step towards true equity in our country and a more just future. There is an opportunity for Congress to confront our nation's racist history of slavery and white supremacy.
There's always an opportunity for Congress to do a lot of things. It doesn't mean that Congress should do it. And you guys claim and scream racist this and racist that and all of these other things. If you want a wound to heal, leave it alone. What is the what benefit does it provide just giving people free money for something that never affected them in the least bit at all? And as a matter of fact, the concentration of wealth within the Black community, the Black people that hold the most money, spend the least amount of money on their own people. And quite frankly, I believe it's a little over 13% of America is Black, is just straight up Black. Black, and I don't mean like, my daddy's dad's Black, so I'm Black. I mean Black. And did you know that 60% of the homicides that are committed in the United States of America are committed by Black people? So 60% of all homicides in the US are committed by a population of only 13% that make up the US. So maybe we should start spending money on correcting those issues and use that money to locate the dads that left for milk when their babies were born first. Let's assess that for a little bit. And then we can start talking about these red herrings like reparations and those sorts of things.
We must provide the descendants of enslaved Black families with reparations that they were promised. That's the thing.
And we need to provide you with Hooked on Phonics.
That everybody keeps forgetting, We were taught early on, they were promised this. And they deserve to create a pathway.
When were you promised that you were going to be getting a check because your great grandmother knew somebody who knew that they might have been a slave? When?
Towards healing and justice. The path towards justice has never been easy. We know that. It's like this institution we all know wasn't built for us, but we have to, on the outside, move them.
And who was it built for? Wasn't built for us, wasn't built for you, wasn't built for her, wasn't built for him, it wasn't built for whoever it is that we're trying to put up on the pedestal. That's who.
It's just like we always have to on every single thing regarding our children, our communities, our health, and so much more. But we must remember it is never in vain, right? Congress must act to confront these uncomfortable truths and right the wrongs of our country's history. Our country, as you know, has been built by many of our Black families and communities. For centuries, many have endured the brutality of slavery, the violence of white supremacy.
What about Jews? Jews, I don't even want to get into what they endured, but do you see them standing on stage demanding all sorts of wild demand? Do you see them? You don't. They endured brutality that is unspeakable. And they're not over there pulling the victim card. What about the Irish? I mean, there are so many people that live in this melting pot that we call the United States of America that had slavery and all sorts of horrible things in their lineage. They don't. They're not sitting here playing the victim. They got over it. I'm not saying that it's such this, oh, just get over it. I'm not belittling what happened. But what I am saying is that they're not continuing to play this victim card in an effort to get something for nothing. As a matter of fact, the Jews, which I focus on, especially now because it's most people know what happened to them, so it's easier to discuss the progression of then and now regarding them. But not only did they bounce back from that atrocity, but they make up arguably the wealthiest group of people in the world, not even just in the United States. And they were put through so much. Now, again, the slaves that were in fact slaves, there is no belittling that. Whatever they went through was horrific. But they're not here today to talk about it. And if there was a slave, a viable slave, a slave that you can look, I mean, they'd be ancient and decrepit, but if there was hypothetically a slave living among us today that endured that, I believe wholeheartedly that they deserve all the money in the world and the kitchen sink. But that's not the case. So leave it in the history books, teach it, explain that it wasn't okay, move on.
Dehumanization of Jim Crow, which is still inevitable, still very evident in auto insurance and housing insurance. And no, it's everywhere in housing and everything. No, it's true. I see it every day.
Do you want to know why I know that that's true? Because she said it. It's true. So it's true. Just need you guys to know that.
In my community, and the systemic racism that has left lasting impact on lives of our neighbors. The fact that Black mothers are still not believed when they say they're in pain in the hospital. There's so much, again, systems that have been in place there that are killing many of our Black neighbors. The federal government has played a central role. You heard it from many of my sisters here. And I'm not simply talking about depths of the past here, but the social and economic policies that built middle class in 20th century, like Social Security and federal housing policies, often excluded, at the time, Black families and communities of color. And again, we saw it. It was more difficult to access quality education. It still is. Again, it was built on the systemic racism that we continue to see in policy. By providing reparations for many of
It's not systemic racism. It's the fact that the Black, and I can say it and I'm going to say it, the wealthy Black populace don't even want to invest in their own genre. And the ones that do invest, invest in things that are self-destructive. They invest in things that are quite frankly not either useless or things that will either implode or self-destruct. Period. You got Black people, for example. You take a rapper, right, who's worth millions. Okay, just any, and I'm not going to go into specifics because it's so well known that if you argue the fact, you're just, I'm either just bold-faced lying or you're stupid. But you take a rapper who has made $2-3 million on some song or brand or whatever, and they're taking that money and they're spending it on foreign cars. They're spending it on Louis Vuitton. They're spending it on Chanel. They're spending it on just Calvin Klein, anything but the Black community. Instead of taking those funds and investing in development in urban areas, they're taking the money and they're just, "Oh, you got me a Lamborghini. You got me a new cologne. The guys ain't got this." And then they go broke. And then what do? The white man kept me down. That's what he did. I was rich and they were hating, so they kept me down. No, it's not. These all of the what you need to do is you need to fix the problem at home. Fix the fatherless homes. Fix the welfare system. Don't keep people on welfare just because they're telling you, I need money. I need money forever. Do you? Now understand people need help. They need a handout. They may need, a leg up, but they don't.
my families, we can begin to address the racial wealth gap and the decades of disinvestment.
You have a leader here that can't even pronunciate and form a coherent sentence, and people that are astute and educated and have made something of themselves watch this. What are they going to think? Like, it's like the drowning, trying to save the drowning. It's so bizarre. This whole thing is just so bizarre. The whole reparations thing is so bizarre. The whole Black Lives Matter movement turns out to just, in other words, stands for buying large mansions movement. The whole thing is just so divorced from reality, and they're selling it to the Black community like it's their savior. And even though that's a super sad notion, what's even more sad is how many of the Black people buy it on a daily basis. Why don't you teach the Black community the real history of the Democratic Party? Why don't you teach the Black community who really freed the slaves? The Republican Party 100% drafted, authored, voted for, and passed civil rights legislation. If you want to do something for the Blacks, teach them that. Instead of teaching them stupid stuff like how to get free money, because at the end of the day, you're giving them something that they're going to have to pay back and they're not going to be able to. So in turn, they're going to have to be a slave in some form or fashion in order to pay back what you are in essence giving them. It's absurd. Wake up and smell the sodomy. There is nothing good about what any of these left-leaning losers are talking about. There's nothing. There's nothing viable whatsoever. Everything that they have tried to put forth has failed. You're talking about, oh, the blacks need this, that, and the third. Last time I checked, you guys were celebrating that you had a black president for 8 freaking years. And now look at you. Now we have somebody, Donald Trump, in the office, who, if you forgot, was a registered Democrat for virtually his entire life. And you're painting him out to be this demonic, racist, hating, and oh, he took out the $80,000 article on the Five when they got arrested, saying that they deserved the death penalty, and then you leave it at that. And then the black people, instead of doing their due diligence like any normal, sane, and coherent person would do, i.e., conservatives, they buy it, they run it, they celebrate it, praise it, and spit it as fact. Instead of going back and saying, is there validity to this? And then, lo and behold, you find out that when that ad was taken out, it was immediately following the arrest of those 5. Immediately after the arrest of those 5, nothing had come out regarding post what took place. At the time, he was a registered Democrat. Remember when Oprah was rubbing shoulders with him, when Hillary Clinton was rubbing shoulders with him, when Whoopi Goldberg was rubbing shoulders with him, and now all of a sudden, because he's batting for the other team, now he's this big, bad, rich orange man looking out only for his own interest and the interest of his rich billionaire buddies. They are pissing on you and telling you it's rainwater. Wake up and smell the sodomy. All of this garbage reparations nonsense is going to fall flat on its face. It's inevitable. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just an attempt to get you to believe that they're actually doing something for you to make your life better. But they know there's no way on God's green earth that what they're asking for is going to be fulfilled in totality. They know it, but they're getting the black community to believe that there's a severance of a chance that that could take place. In turn, you will then vote for them. In turn, you'll keep them in office. And then what they're going to do is they're going to turn around and keep collecting through their position that they have obtained, arguably fraudulently, and that cycle will repeat itself. And the only person that's going to be stuck with their pants down is going to be the black community and these leaders once they've been outed. That's it. There's time to walk away from the Democratic Party. There's time to open your eyes and smell, like I said, smell the sodomy. But do not be a part of this garbage nonsense. It was funny while it lasted, and ha ha ha. We had 4 years of a president who was borderline retarded. America got to date somebody new, and we didn't like them. So we've moved on. It's time to move on. Look forward, look ahead, and let's see the real America and what it has to offer.